Welcome back to Studio F4 on Fast Times Willy B. We'll be reviewing Snow White. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Russell!
Welcome back to Fast Times Willy B. I'm Willy B. I've got Rosie with me. Rosie, how we doing?
Good, glad to be back.
So today we'll be taking on the latest Disney animated film turned live action, and that is Snow White. This is actually the first Disney live action remake I have ever watched. I was a big Snow White fan as a kid, believe it or not. I was my babysitter. I think that's the only tape they had. But I enjoyed the movie every day they turned it on. So I guess it fits the mold of my life that this is the first Disney live action remake. I mean, if it wasn't gonna be this, it probably would have been The Lion King, but that didn't even get me into theaters. Nonetheless, we've got Mark Webb in the director's chair, which I know him from directing The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, which is well, I thought was always cool that his name was Mark Webb and he got to direct Spider-Man movie.
That is pretty cool.
But he is in charge of this one. Cast-wise, we've got Rachel Zegler, who's becoming, more prominent when it comes to especially franchises at this point. Y2K, probably her most under-the-ground movie, but we've seen her take on a Hunger Games role. Now we've seen her don Snow White. We've got Gal Gadot. We'll get talking about her. And, not many big names outside of those two in this film, but we'll start with the good. And where do you want to start?
You don't have anything to start with?
I mean, I have a few things that are good.
Okay.
I think the production design was good.
Yeah.
Like when we're inside the dwarf's cottage, I thought it looked pretty good.
Oh, yeah. I thought everywhere we went, the cottage, the castle, the town, the woods, I think everything was, it was kind of cool watching it because, like, you've seen the animation, so this is, like, bringing it into, like, a real-life perspective, so I thought that was kind of cool. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I loved all the colors, Snow White, and her dress, very prominent colors, bright colors, so, I thought everything was well done. I loved the look of everything, because sometimes it can get a little with live action, like they use the CGI or whatever they use to do all the effects, kind of gets, sometimes it's a little funky or whatever. But I think everything, to me, I thought everything looked pretty good. So I enjoyed the, not really like a set design, because there really was no like set design, but like
there was.
The look of it.
The cottage is a set, the castle is a set, the town is a set. I thought production design was good. I thought costume was good. I mean, we've got Snow White's got her iconic red and blue dress up top with the yellow, skirt.
Loved it.
You've got the evil queen with her, iconic hood with the crown over it.
Loved her jewels.
Yeah, the jewels, and when she's the old lady too. And then obviously with the townspeople and the dwarves wearing their, Dopey has the iconic purple hat with the way too long sleeved green shirt.
Yeah.
So I thought costume did a good job as well. Costume and production design were definitely my two big goods. And then I put Rachel Zegler in the good.
Yeah, she was great.
She can sing her heart out, that's for sure.
For sure.
We learned that in Hunger Games, and we get it again here. I honestly think she carried the movie. And
as I think Snow White should, obviously. It's her movie.
But for me, I mean, without her, we're talking about a pretty rough movie. And I'm not saying obviously without Snow White, obviously the movie's got Snow White. I'm just saying, like, say he casted somebody else and they were rough, this movie could have been really bad.
Yeah.
I thought Zegler did a lot of things right. I thought she had the best acting chops in the film. Obviously she can sing. And, I feel like she, in my opinion, was the only one that was really believable in her role.
Yeah, she, I think with Snow White, you have to have a lot of heart because you go she I mean even in the story and the original, you go from losing your parents to um, living with your stepmother who's now the queen
Yeah.
and completely wrecking everything that your town that you've grew up in and your parents were once the rulers of. And that's such a sad story. And then she meets all the dwarves, and they bring a little bit more life back into her, and so it's a lot of emotions and a lot of roles. So I think she did a really really well job with that.
I also like the comedy the dwarves bring.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about
I honestly
them.
could have used more of them.
Yeah.
I feel like they were a little underplayed.
Yeah.
What we get of them, I do enjoy as far as writing goes. Um, but yeah, I thought I could have used maybe a little more of them, honestly.
Yeah. I wasn't sure what to expect with them. Like the way they were gonna look, or I wasn't sure. I don't know. I just wasn't sure. So when we got the first glimpse of them going to work in the diamond mine, I was like, oh, they're all kind of cute.
Yeah.
Like I love that they all have their own. Obviously, they have all their own look, and they all have their own quirks, and dressed to the original.
Yeah.
The original tea. So I really enjoyed them, and they were funny, and I mean they are originally. So
yeah, I agree. The dwarves they were definitely in the good for me for the most part, which I'll get into anything I haven't to say later. But honestly, that might be it for me in the good category.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I have anything.
I guess you could say the concept of the story is in the good, but there's a lot of copy and paste.
Yeah.
So it's.
I'm kind of glad they stuck to the original vibe, the original story. I'm glad they didn't deter too far off from that. I think it's fun. I don't know. I prefer this over watching like what is it called? The Lion King, because it's actually live people.
That's fair.
So then that makes the term live action actually mean something.
That's fair.
Because everyone says Mufasa and the Lion King and Mufasa are live action, but
they're not.
They're not live. It's all just CGI. Which I know is kind of
people's argument is it's mocap for the most part, so it's people playing the animals, but I
know, but I think Snow White and any other movie that was once animation and then real people have adapted, I feel like that is more of a live action movie, because you get to see the action, like Wicked and things like that. I enjoyed it. So
anything else for you in the good?
Not off the top of my head, but as we talk, I usually gather more info. I'll throw it at the end if I can think of anything.
So we'll hop over to the meh. First thing I'll put in the meh is the musical numbers. I thought Rachel Zegler, once again, sang phenomenally. I did enjoy, for the most part, the whistle song. Other than that, I think a lot of the musical numbers were very forgettable.
Yeah.
I think... And musicals aren't my favorite genre by any means, but there's musicals that have gotten me singing the songs still to this day.
Yeah.
Tick, Tick, Boom, La La Land are two that instantly pop in my head, and they're musicals that I listen to the soundtrack quite a bit to.
Right.
This one, maybe somebody out there will revisit this, but I just feel like it's one of those musicals where this music's going to be forgotten.
Yeah, I think except for the iconic Hi Ho song and Whistle While You Work, just because those are two of the songs you think of when you think of Snow White, especially with the dwarves. But I couldn't even tell you, I usually enjoy a musical number in a movie, but I feel like this one just, I mean, I enjoyed watching them, but the replay for me just isn't there. Now I know there's I'm sure there's a diehard Snow White fan out there that would absolutely love this playlist, because Rachel Ziegler did such a phenomenal job singing them.
Yeah.
And portraying Snow White as a character. So I know somebody is going to love it, but unfortunately, just not a big Disney princess gal myself. But obviously, it was cool seeing the hi ho and Whistle While You Work songs. Those are pretty iconic.
Like I said, that goes along with production design. I thought the caves were cool too during that, so that's all cool. This is where I put the CGI. I put it in the meta because there's some good to it. I mean, like I said, for the most part, a lot of our sets look good, but there's sometimes where the backdrop you can just tell isn't real. And the dwarves.
You didn't like them?
I put it in the meta because it wasn't bad, but it was still too obvious. Which everybody's gonna know their CGI because I think the biggest thing is they didn't get a single. I don't know.
I just looked at the cast list actually before we started this.
Yeah.
And I don't remember his name, but there is a guy that played Grumpy.
Yeah, Grumpy was the only actual dwarf, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so I don't know if they, like...
So somebody said, one of the reviews I saw was Snow White and the one dwarf.
Oh.
Because I'm pretty sure, I can't remember his name, but I saw him as well. He was Grumpy. But yeah, no, I don't know. There was moments where I thought the look was all right, and there's moments where I was like, you can tell really bad. It was when they really focused on a face, too, like... Especially Dopey. But...
He was so sweet.
No, I'm not taking away from his character. I still said I like the dwarves.
I know.
The writing of the dwarves.
Yes.
But I'd put that and some of the backdrops there for sure. Also in the meta, I'd probably put the ending. So one of the separations from the original to this one is... In the original, it's not a thief that's coming after. It's an actual prince. And after the prince delivers the kiss, they go back to his castle. In this one... It's a thief coming, like she's falling for.
Right.
And after they have the kiss, they go back to her castle and take it back over. I didn't love the takeover. I thought the mirror scene was cool.
That was really cool.
But, like, I remember all of you to win over, I don't know, it was just cheesy.
And so I'm not going to disagree with the cheesiness, but I think it was, like, a slight to the evil queen because she did not know any of those people prior to her taking over.
Oh, I know why they did it.
Yes. So I kind of liked it because she was just showing, like, that these people used to be actual people before her takeover. So I kind of liked it. It kind of gave a little personal touch. And seeing, like, that they were taken away from their families. Yeah. Like... because they were out in the crowd, watching everything go down. So, I didn't love the scene, but I kind of liked it because, I couldn't think of another way to get back at the evil queen rather than giving her a slight like that and make her feel pretty bad about herself.
I'm probably just going to say the movie itself is a meh.
Yeah.
I don't know, it lacked the charm that the animation has. I'm not a fan of the idea of just making a live-action remake of everything that was successful back in the day.
Yeah.
I like originality. Now, I'm going to sound hypocritical in that because I'll take a Halloween movie every other day of the week. But what I'm saying by that is it was almost shot for shot. Now, they try to do a few things that separated it, like, changing up the prince to a criminal and her taking over the castle. But... it's hard to really get into a movie when it's almost copy and pasted and it lacks what the charm that it had in the 30s with that animation. That's my fear with most of these Disney live action remakes. It's my fear and why I didn't watch The Lion King, why I haven't watched Mufasa, why I didn't watch the Cinderella remake, Mulan, why I fear Lilo and Stitch, which is a movie I adored as a child, why I fear it coming out in May. Now, the trailer for Lilo and Stitch, it looks fun, but Lilo and Stitch was fun, so if it's copy and paste, it's gonna be fun, but it's just, I don't know, it's just not my cup of tea. Now, like, The Crow did a remake last year, and everybody's up in roars, and I didn't love the film. I thought it was better than people were giving it credit for, but at least it tried to make something of itself.
Something different, yeah.
Yes. So I respect it for that.
For sure.
Now, it will never sniff the original. And that's how this movie is.
Yeah.
Not only did it not really set itself apart, it's never gonna be the original.
Right.
It's not. And so unfortunately for me, I went into this movie not expecting anything stellar.
Mm-hmm.
And so I enjoyed it a little bit.
Because
and I mentioned some of the goods.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, to me, it's going to be one of those movies that's forgettable, because if I'm ever going to be in the mood for Snow White, I'm going back to the 30s.
Original. 100%. I don't think... so I'm not sure, like, the reasoning behind them all coming out with live actions or remakes or
Running
whatever.
out of ideas.
Yeah, I fear.
And
so,
it's cash grab. I mean,
yeah,
any family that has kids is going to be able to, or they're going to market it to them.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I just think that, like,
Disney
if you're...
Princess is coming back out and they're fresh.
Yeah.
Frozen live action is going to be coming soon. I guarantee it.
Not gonna. I don't know. I just think... I mean, I don't put it past them. But I just think that if you want to sit down and watch a movie, I feel like the original, you know, especially, I mean, Snow White was the very first Disney princess.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, she is the OG.
Yeah.
So why am I going to go watch a remake if I want to watch the OG princess herself?
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to the 30s and watch the animation, because that is just, I mean, to think about
It's timeless.
it is in the animation in the 30s.
I mean, it's going to be...
That's crazy.
It's 1937, I believe. So that means it's almost 90 years old.
That's insane. The insane that animation, I mean, because you think about it, like, it's just completely day and night. So, like, I just don't think that this or many of the other live action reboots have the replay value.
They feel soulless. I shouldn't say they, because this is the only one I've seen, but that's a big reason why I don't go watch them, is because you get that feeling before you even go into it that it's a cash grab. And now, you know, I'll visit them eventually, probably. And maybe some of them are good and separated themselves in a certain way. I don't know. This didn't do a lot for me because, like I said, if I'm in the mood to watch Snow White, I'm just going to go back to the 30s.
For sure.
Anything else for you in the meh? I think that's about it for me.
I don't think so.
So we're going to hop over to the bad. And the first bad, Gal Gadot was awful.
So, I heard before we went and seen it that nobody liked her in this role. And as I was watching it, I was trying to figure why.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she had the evil heart of the evil witch.
Well, the
evil queen, evil witch. Jesus.
I
just couldn't. I don't see the passion, because if you, the evil queen is, I just didn't feel like. I don't know, I didn't get that passion. Like you were talking, like the heart. I just didn't get that from her.
I'm going to come out and say it. She's the definition of, she gets roles because of her looks.
She is stunning, for sure.
Because I didn't think she was great in Fast and Furious franchise. I didn't think she was great as Wonder Woman. She was pretty rough in Death on the Nile. And here's another one where I'm sitting here and I'm leaving the theater. I'm like, she was probably the worst part of the movie.
Yeah, I fear that it is because she is so stunning. And the evil queen is supposed to be this beautiful, you know, evil, the fairest. So, but what I was lacking was, like, that evilness from her.
It's just every role I watch her, it just feels like she doesn't want to be there.
Yeah. It was very...
And I haven't seen all of her catalog, so I'm not saying that she's the worst actress ever, because I'm sure there's movies where she's awesome, but from the sample size I've gotten of her, I've never really been a big Gal Gadot fan.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if you look at any of the reviews of this movie, she's usually at the top of it. And it's usually not very good.
Yeah. I didn't get that passion from her.
Yeah. Yeah, that's unfortunately a lot of the movie, like, it just lacked the charm of the animated one.
She was just a little, like, I don't know. She just doesn't have the evil queen vibe I was hoping for.
Yeah.
So it was pretty lackluster for me as well.
Yeah.
Just like when she's like like dictating or yelling, like I didn't get like a big like, oh, I should probably be pretty scared of her, or like what it like I didn't get like that vibe, like that
Yeah.
like evil queen energy. I didn't get it from her at all.
The only other thing I think I'd put in the bag, because like I said, this movie's probably mostly in that category for me. It wasn't all bad. There was things I enjoyed, but 2 props. I thought the pies looked fake as all get out, and then the necklace. The necklace literally looked like it was bought on Etsy or Amazon, where you get like you type in the engraving and you get it shipped to you.
Yeah.
It didn't have anything special about it. I was like, man, like if you're centering the movie around this necklace in a way,
which they are for sure.
You think you'd get a better prop.
Yeah, and I don't know if they were trying to be realistic because like I'm sure in that time somebody would have handmade something like that. So like it isn't going to look,
I mean, that's
you know,
fair.
like
they didn't have when you look at it, you're like, yeah, she got that off Amazon.
I don't see, and I didn't think that at all because in my brain I was like, oh well, it's back in.
I think back in that day it would look better than it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like a chain and a
It's
heart.
a princess movie too. They have all those gems, and that's the necklace you come up with.
I guess that's true.
But that's really it. Like I said, not too much to complain about. But we can hop over to our final thoughts and ratings. What do you want to leave off with? Snow White, and what do you give it out of 10?
Unfortunately, the score from this one is just going off like the nostalgia of the original, of course. The replay value for me is non-existent. I fear. Maybe just to, I don't even know, because I usually am like, oh, maybe just to like go, like if it's a mystery, I'm like, oh, go back and see if you can catch an Easter egg or something. But like,
yeah,
I don't think that this one really hit the spot for me. Now I know neither of us are huge Disney people. We do enjoy a Disney movie, of course, but like, and like the princesses were like never. I mean, kinda a little bit, but I had my favorite princesses. And
I was always more into Pixar.
Yeah,
when it came to Disney Animation Studios, I mean, obviously, I loved The Lion King. I loved Brother Bear.
Yeah.
I loved Fantasia. I was more when it came to Disney Animation Studios. I was more into Mickey and the gang than I was the princesses. But that, I mean, I did enjoy Snow White.
Yeah,
I like Snow White a lot. You know, I watched Cinderella. I watched most of the princesses.
Growing up with sisters for you, for sure.
Well, yeah, and Meet the Robinsons was one I loved too. But I don't. I just don't need the live action remakes. Yeah. I like that. When I think Disney and I think, you know, obviously Pixar too, I think the animation. I mean, I think that's what makes it so iconic. And I'm not saying Disney can't ever make a live action movie, but when you just keep pumping out these live action remakes like you are, it just it has a sour taste, in my opinion, in my mouth, and it just looks like a cash grab.
Yeah. So I just think that, I mean, the scenery was well done and the costumes were great, and I personally liked the Seven Dwarves, so that might be an unpopular opinion for most. Unfortunately, replay value for me is kind of a pretty major role in the my scoring. I know that is different for a lot of other people, but I am a big movie rewatcher. I have like 5 movies that circulate through my rewatch. So I think I'm gonna probably go. I mean, I feel bad because I've been going in the middle of the road for the last 2 movies we recorded. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to stick Snow White at a 5 for me.
Okay, I'm gonna go just a peg below meh. I'm gonna go 4 out of 10. I think it's gonna be very forgettable for a lot of people, and it's gonna make money, unfortunately.
You know, it's funny you mentioned forgettable because I forgot that they even did Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, they did.
Live
With Emma
action.
Watson, which I haven't heard great things about that one.
And Beauty and the Beast growing up was my favorite.
Okay.
And I even forgot they made it until when you said forgettable. I don't know why that popped into my head.
Yeah.
And I loved Belle growing up. Like, she was my favorite. Like, my favorite color is yellow, probably because of her.
Yeah.
Like, so, I don't know. It just...
Yeah.
I'm hoping there is a diehard Cinderella... I'm not a diehard Belle fan now, growing up. But, like, as a little girl, that was my favorite. And I forgot that they made that. Yeah. So I'm hoping there is a diehard Snow White fan out there that really enjoys this, but I fear if she's a diehard Snow White fan, I don't think they're gonna like it very much.
Well, it depends on their age.
That's true.
Kids will probably find a lot of enjoyment in this movie.
I think so too. But if you're, our age or older, and you love Snow White, I don't think that this is gonna really hit the spot for you. Maybe for nostalgia purposes, but not for the long haul. I don't think.
Nope. That'll do it for Snow White. Rosie, thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Thank you all for watching. If you like what you're watching, check out some of the videos, hit the subscribe button, or follow the social links down below. All of it is appreciated. We'll talk to you all soon. Peace.
Peace and love.